All right, everybody, I am so excited to answer 50 of your questions. So to make this easier on you, you can look in the description below the video, and I'm gonna do timestamps for each question with a little abbreviated version of the question, so you can skip around, find your own question. But of course, I recommend you listen to them all. A lot of good questions here, a lot of topics. You know, I like what I do with YouTube videos that are long like this. Hit download, it's saved, and when I get time, listen to it. I listen to crypto stuff while I'm in the gym. Not as motivating as listening to some, EDM shit, but at least I'm learning while I'm ripping up. So anyways, let's get started. All right. So first from Sane on bitclout. He asked, what's your current view of bitclout? Lots of changes have happened, new functionalities. Is the coin gonna become deflationary? So when I saw bitclout, I made a video a couple weeks ago. I was very excited about it. What I'm excited about is that there is a decentralized social media platform. I didn't think that was coming for a couple years. So to see it out already, to me, is exciting. bitclout's new, and there may be others that come up and this and that. Will bitclout be the one, that's going to be the biggest and the killer? Maybe. I have no reason to think it won't, but it's early, and I am excited about it. I am on it. I am posting on it. There's not a lot of tools, though. My thing, I was also excited. I love, the Dave Levine coin. My coin. Let's pump those bags, right? But how do I provide value to my coin holders? There's no tools that I can think of or find that allow me to easily provide value to my coin holders. One thing I'd love is if I could send a message to every one of my coin holders. Then I could have a, live show, and then I could send the link only to my coin holders or do other things by just being able to message all my coin holders, or just message coin holders who own more than this much coins, But there's no tool. That tool doesn't exist. I don't know that there's any tool. So for me, I'm in it. I'm posting on it. I'm watching. I'm trying to learn. Hopefully it will develop into something great. It has the potential. It has the foundation. So I like it. And I own some of the bitclout token as well, because I feel like that's just an early stage bet. I wouldn't buy a lot of it. I mean, who knows, right? But it's an early stage thing on something that could be very exciting. And the coin is supposed to be, the bitclout token is supposed to be listed in an exchange within a few days. And also somebody else asked, Raphael asked, will bitclout be on Coinbase? Two of the investors in bitclout are Coinbase and Gemini, as well as Sequoia and Andreessen. So I would think that the token will be listed on Coinbase or Gemini because they're investors. So, and to the question, will it become deflationary? They just announced that the token, sort of like a Bitcoin kind of thing, in that eventually they'll stop mining new ones. But it's, so they were printing new ones every time you got onto bitclout, but they're going to stop that. The only new coins will come through mining, which will be for 30 years, new tokens being created through mining. But it's sort of a fixed supply other than that. And listen, the bitclout token, it's hard to analyze it at this point. I haven't been able to find a lot of good info. I assume it's not. This whole thing, bitclout's a scam. To me, it's a good sign that everybody's yelling that it's a scam I can't find any reason why they would call it a scam. And everybody's saying that. That means it's bothering them, which means it's disruptive, which I think is a good sign. But how will the token do when it's listed on exchanges? It might go straight down because so many people have had a lot of appreciation on the bitclout platform, and now they want to cash out. Although maybe it's great marketing and then a lot of people want to get in. Now it's easier to get the bitclout, so the price goes up. I have no idea. For me, this is a little bit hold it for 5 years sort of token. All right. Next. So I'm doing timestamps here, so that's why I'll be writing each time. Okay. Omniscient Stoic asks, Are you currently using any staking mechanisms, Lido, for example, to stake your ETH? And there was another question too from Michael Rinaldi asked, are you planning on staking ETH? If so, would you consider using a plug-and-play blockchain node like Avado? Okay, so first of all, if you are young, ambitious, want to learn, I think a good place to invest some time is learning how to run a node and staking your own ETH. Now, you need to be careful. You need to be smart. Don't lose your ETH. Don't screw it up. It's look at it like it's a little bit of a job, but if you're ambitious, like I think that's worth it. You're going to learn something and you're going to earn yield, and I think it's a good thing to do. Now, I'm old and busy trying to make my life as simple as possible, so I'm not going to do it, but I think it's a smart thing to do for other people. Don't do as I do as I say. But it's different. I'm not young and ambitious, okay? I'm old and trying to be simple. So that's the first thing. And it was the design of the ETH staking, and Vitalik Buterin's talked a lot about this, by the way, that you should be able to stake just with a laptop, a regular laptop that even occasionally loses connection, and you should still be fine. That's what it's designed for. So if that's the intention, again, there's a learning curve to it, but it shouldn't be that hard, right? If you believe in Ethereum, then you should believe that what they're trying to do will work, and you can run a node on your laptop. So that's the best way. As far as using third parties to do it, I haven't researched it that much because I don't know. I got a lot of things I'm researching. A lot of things I'm looking for algorithmic stablecoins. I'm doing a lot of the Uniswap v3. Again, I'm not young, ambitious. I don't work 12 hours a day. Coinbase does have a staking service that they announced. You lock it in Coinbase, and then you can't withdraw it for now. It's locked in, and you're earning some yield on it. So I was like, okay. So I threw a little ETH into the Coinbase staking thing. I'll earn some yield. Easy enough. And so I'm doing that. Why not? Lido and Avado, do your own research. When it comes to earning yield on anything, or with this, don't look for the highest percentage and the newest thing. Think safety, security, long-term reliability. That's the most important. And for that, you're going to have to do your own research, because I have not looked into those. So I'm not going to start recommending any. I don't know if there's a lot more questions, or you have specific questions about it. Do you think this is a good sign or a bad sign? I'm not against looking at it if people really care. But we'll see. Okay. Let's see. What do we got here? Exceller.eth. He had a few questions. This question is, do you see Bitcoin price underperforming in the future, preventing ETH from performing as well as it could? I think what he's referring to is a lot of people say that BTC price, it holds up the whole market. When BTC does well, then everything else does well. And if BTC doesn't do well, then nothing else will do well. And people say this, and maybe it used to be really true. That's just, to me, is something people say, and I don't know why they say it. And it may happen to an extent, but I don't let that. To me, I just look at what is great. I think Ethereum is great. In 5 years from now, we'll be providing a lot more value to the world than it is now, to the point that I am confident that the price will be higher than it is now, so I hold ETH. Bitcoin, I'm not as confident, so I don't hold it. Which means, I don't know, maybe Bitcoin does underperform. But that doesn't make Ethereum not good. In the short run, maybe ETH price goes to hell if Bitcoin crashes. Okay, but still, I'm not a short-term guy. So the question is, well, do you see that causing problems? It may be in the short run, but I don't worry about that issue. I'm not worried about that. I don't even think about it. I don't care. Okay, next. Kennedy Newgan asks, I've been doing this thing where people post their portfolio and get my feedback on their portfolio. So Kennedy asks, has a portfolio here, ETH 75%, Bitcoin 10%, and Polygon 15%. So, so first of all, maybe this is just your crypto portfolio. I'll talk about that in a second. But if this is your whole portfolio in life, you need to have some cash, right? Unless you have a super secure, strong income that you can rely on, and then you don't need to save any cash because you're always making money. But even with that, I would have some cash, right, in case there's an emergency. And if you don't have a super secure high income, you want to have a good amount of cash put aside, usually even 10%. Especially, we're late in the cycle here with prices. Prices of everything are pretty high in investments. So that means there's a decent chance that things could go lower, which means you want to have some cash. So that's one problem. Now, if you just are asking crypto portfolio, talking about that, ETH 75%, Bitcoin 10%, that's cool. I don't have any problems with that. Polygon 15%. So Polygon, a number of questions here we'll be talking about layer 2 solutions, scaling Ethereum. Ethereum gas prices lately have really come down a lot. They were super expensive, which sends people to other chains to do things because it was too expensive on Ethereum. Lately, it's not as expensive. But anyways, Polygon is one of these solutions. What it is, it's actually a side chain, okay? It's not a layer 2. It's another chain with a good bridge connection to Ethereum. And it's a proof of stake chain that, so it's Polygon's cool. They do a good job. They are they're very sort of connected to Ethereum-like philosophy, and it's not like Binance, which obviously is a separate chain that they're just centralized and they don't give a shit, right? So Polygon's cool, and they're providing a service with fast transactions, and it's not the worst by any means. But it's not as secure as, optimistic rollups and ZK rollup solutions that are here and launching more and more. Those are trusted by the main Ethereum chain. It's a lot more trusted to have a real optimistic rollup or ZK rollup scaling solution is a lot more trusted than Polygon. Polygon is a separate chain that if there could be a 50%, 51% attack, or however you could attack this proof of stake chain. And my understanding is the tokens aren't super well distributed. And I think it's fine. I'm not worried about Polygon, but, theoretically, it is more risky than other L2 solutions. Also, these L2 solutions are launching new ones every day. And it is wide open. We're talking about imagine a 2-mile race, okay? And we're at the first 200 yards, and people are trying to pick winners. And so Polygon just jumped off that line, and they're running, and they're far ahead. But it's a 2-mile race, and maybe they're just like crazy, running really fast, right? And they're going to be tired by the end of the first lap. I don't know. But, and also, because Polygon is less secure, that means... So they got a lead. That means, though, they're going to have to transition to a more secure type optimistic or ZK rollup solution, soon enough. And maybe they will, and maybe they'll maintain that lead. It's fine. But on the other hand, so many things are launching. I'm not picking any winners regarding L2. I'm going to wait and see who is a winner. And also, hey, if the bear market started or we go into a bear market soon enough, we'll start seeing who the L2 winners are a year from now, maybe 2. Everything moves so fast in crypto. Even a year from now, we may have some good ideas here, but prices may be very low. So I wouldn't bet too big on any one L2 solution right now. I think it's too early. Certainly too early for me to predict. And Polygon, so 15% on Polygon, that seems high to me. I think I'm not betting on any L2 solutions, right now, because I like to win. I don't like to be wrong. So Polygon is risky for me long term. So be careful. Okay, next. Shane Slovic asks, who do you believe will be the majority owners of Ethereum 1 year after the switch to proof of stake, retail individuals or institutions? So, the short answer is I don't know how you could predict, but Ethereum is built, Ethereum proof of stake is built with the intention, the main intention that individuals will be able to stake and run a node on their laptop. And so I think retail and individuals will be a part of the mix and should be a part of the mix. And Ethereum really wants that. They're developing with the intention of that being able to happen. Also, in proof of work, I feel like there's a natural sort of consolidation towards bigger companies, because proof of work is a lot of work, especially these days, right? It's a mature industry. You've got, in order to be doing real mining, right? You've got all kinds of computers and cooling systems and an energy supply that's really cheap, and they build these huge installations for mining. It's very hard. It used to be the case that you could just run it on your laptop in your house and make money. You can't do that now with Bitcoin. And so we're sort of seeing that. I'm not saying Bitcoin mining is going to totally become undecentralized. I'm not saying that. But with proof of stake, it's a lot easier, right? You just lock up coins and you put it on any computer. It doesn't take a lot of power. And so I don't know what advantage big companies or institutions have. I don't know that they have any advantage, other than they may already have a lot of customers. So, for example, Coinbase has a lot of customers, and so now they're offering a staking service, and someone like me, and I just throw it in. So, yeah, they would have more staking than an individual, but, so the answer to your question, I have no idea who's going to be staking the most. And I don't really care. What I care about is that it is decentralized, and certainly decentralized enough. I think it will be, not worried about it, but, we will see. Okay. Next, we got Exceller again asks, how many times do you regret selling too early or too late during past bubbles? What are my, mistakes in past bubbles? So one mistake I made, and I'm going to admit to mistakes. This is how we learn. And a lot of you are young, believe me. You're going to, oh boy. The most expensive education is learning about how to invest through learn by doing, right? So, don't hate me because I've done stupid things. First of all, I remember I was buying a house, and this is different. This isn't even a bubble. I was pretty early in getting Google. I understood Google. I remember looking at it and being like, wow, they're not even valuing YouTube. YouTube was very new, and I was like, oh, YouTube's going to be big. And also in my business, I was using Google Analytics and Google Spreadsheets. Before anyone was talking about it, Google was just valued on the pay-per-click. Plus, we were using pay-per-click in the business. They were valued fairly on pay-per-click, nothing crazy. And all the other stuff they had going on, it was like they had no valuation, especially YouTube. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. So I, see how I open that up for you? Even though all of 90% of my audience is guys, so maybe you're not that excited. Although some of the comments I see, some of you might be excited. Sorry. But for the 2 female viewers, anyways, so Google looked, I knew that was good. I was pretty heavily invested in it, and it was going up and up. And then I was buying a house, and I needed a little more cash, and I had some shitty stocks. I had some Newmont mining that was garbage, and this was, I don't know if you look at the chart, I could find, a point where Newmont mining was going to be shitty for another 5 years. I was at the early part of that. And I thought, well, what should I sell? Oh, I'll sell to Google because it went up a lot. And I'm not going to sell the Newmont mining because I like it, even though it's, I think it's, if you ask me, what is a great company? What is, I would have said Google, but I was just thinking about stocks in this weird way of, I wanted to have the one that didn't go up a lot, right? And so I sold a bunch of Google in order to buy this house, which investment-wise was not good at all. And then I look at that Google that I sold. I would have made millions on that Google, and the house is nothing but it was not financially good. So that was stupid. And if I sold the Newmont mining, I would have lost nothing. So that That was a mistake. The internet bubble in 99. Well, I thought I was smart because I wasn't buying the stupidest stuff that was like fake companies that had nothing going on, but were really expensive. But I did own Cisco and Microsoft and Intel, and I knew those were going to go down, and I knew they were overvalued, so I sold like 25% of my holdings, pretty near the top. 2 years later, I remember looking at it. That 25% I sold was worth like 10 times more than the 75% that I held. So I was like, I guess I should have sold a little bit more. And I didn't, I knew it was in a bubble and it was expensive, but I didn't understand the extent to which it was. And so I ended up holding a lot more. If you heard me talking during the bubble, I'd be like, oh my God, everything's so overvalued. It's going to crash. It's stupid. And I was right. Meanwhile, I didn't profit from my wisdom. And then in 2008, I was in Hollywood, very busy partying, which might contribute to why I kept my eye was not on the ball. And this was probably the stupidest of all things. First of all, I had leverage in the market, and I bought this oil stock. I was like, oh, oil. I don't know what. I don't even know what I was thinking. Rig. Rig, the oil stock, the driller. Bought that thing near the high, had leverage. Then when everything was crashing, one day I was like looking at things and I go, what the fuck? I was like, oh my God, I am upside down here. I was like, and I just sold like at the low. It was terrible. It took me years to recover from that mistake. Years. But I've recovered, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Bitcoin and Ethereum. The benefit was I had capital gains, credits, losses for years. I have all my capital gains were not taxed thanks to Rig. So, okay. Next. Leprechaun. What percent do you invest in small cap coins? Okay. I skipped a question. Excelsior also asked, you know what? I'll do that next. Okay. Sorry. Where are we? All right. Leprechaun asked, what percent do you invest in small cap coins? I don't like your question. This question tells me you're not thinking about things correctly. You're like looking at price. What you should be looking at is what, if we're talking about tokens, networks here, what network is going to be providing a lot more value to people 5 years from now? That's the question. Whether it's small and it's going to become big, or it's big and it's going to become much bigger. That's what you're looking for. Now, yes, it's true that if something's small, it usually means it's new. And if you predict that something's going to work when it's new, it's a lot harder to predict it. Then you make more money because you had this insight that, for example, is bitclout going to be the social media decentralized platform for the world in 5 years? Or will it be another one that launches within the next year or two? I don't know. It's brand new, right? BitClout just launched. It's a new idea. I mean, who knows? That's a tough thing to predict. Will Ethereum be an important, blockchain 5 years from now? Now, for some people, that might be hard to predict. For someone like me, and it's been around for 6 years, and I know what's going on, that's much easier to predict. Now, if both of them end up growing a ton, you will make more in the BitClout simply because it's newer, and so you get a bigger reward for being correct. But my focus is on, I want to be correct. And I'd rather be correct and only make 10x in Ethereum than, granted, if you're correct in BitClout and you buy it now, maybe you'll make 100x. But if you're wrong, you lose all your money, right? So, and that shit can move fast. It's very tricky. So, saying you're looking for small coins means you're looking for what you're asking is, what is brand new that you want to invest in and how much? First of all, keep it small because by definition, if it's new, it's more risky. It's harder to know. But if you're a genius and you read Solidity contracts and you can read it and you see what they've built and you see that it's robust and if you could do that and you have that skill, God bless. And you'll be rich, but you probably wouldn't be, if that was you, you wouldn't be asking the question this way. So what was I going to say? How much percent do you invest in small caps? So bottom line is, right now, when it comes to crypto, I'm like, let's just say it's 80% Ethereum, 20% Uniswap. Ethereum, because I think it's the number one, and it happens to be the biggest, which maybe that's why I'm able to have the confidence. And Uniswap, also, there's a ton of DEXs out there. I don't know, Uniswap is one of the biggest. It's getting competitive, and they're solid. I know they're not going away, and I know they're growing a lot. Will another one grow more than them? Maybe. I don't know. And who knows? I keep my eye on it, right? I'm watching that thing all the time and all the competitors. So I got some Uniswap. But also, again, this is something I've talked about before. Remember where you are. It's sort of like, let's say, here's an analogy that all my young guy followers might like. Say you're like, oh, I want to go out with a crazy girl, okay? And you're at some event, a nice event, and you're looking for someone who's fun, and she's laughing, and okay, and that's who you pick. Now, let's imagine you go to some swinger Mardi Gras party. And now you're looking for the craziest girl. First of all, anybody at the party's crazy. So I would look for the most normal woman there because she's crazy, right? She's at the Mardi Gras topless swinger party, okay? So in crypto, you're already in high risk, high beta, high return if you get it right. You don't have to look for the craziest. If you're in crypto and looking for the highest risk, there's another question we're coming to. Someone's like, how can I increase my alpha? You're at that crazy party. You don't need to find the craziest person at the crazy party. You're in crypto. I would focus on finding the lowest risk investments because you're already in high risk area. Hope that worked. All right. And then the question here that I had skipped. Where are we? 27. Exceller again asks, which bubble have you experienced is most similar to the one you're currently in? Any lessons you learned from it that you think are most relevant? So first of all, there is a video, I'll put the link in, about, I made a video. This is my 7th bubble, right? I've lived through 6, and the lessons I learned from each bubble. I made that video. You could watch that, first of all. And then what is this one similar? First of all, there's a couple things to that. First of all, everything is always different. History rhymes, but it doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Okay, yeah. Things go up, people get crazy, everyone talks about it, and then it goes down and everybody ignores it. But beyond that, and they all do that, beyond that, I don't know if there's ever any similarities. And the other thing is, you don't know when you're in it where you are. You only know when you look back, right? That's why everyone loves with these stupid charts. They look in the past and be like, oh, I know what happened, and I know what happened in the past. Yeah, you do, because you're looking at the chart. You don't know what's going to happen in the future, though, and just because the chart, this happened last time, doesn't mean it'll happen this time. And for example, right now, okay, geniuses who look at charts, what's going on right now? You think you know? We're still in the bull market? We're still in the bear market? Okay, you got a 50-50 chance of being right, but you don't know. If we're in a bear market, we will know it maybe 3 months from now. But we don't know right now. Or we're still in a bull market? Oh, we'll know it maybe 3 months from now, but right now, who the hell knows? So all you people think you're going to sell at the top. What if we're in the bear market now? Did you sell at 4,200? No. ETH at 4,200? No, you didn't. Okay, so much for selling at the top. On the other hand, if it's a bull market, are you super confident? You're not selling anything now because you know it's going to the top? You don't fucking know. So, first of all, you don't even know where you are in a bubble, let alone how it's similar to another one. And it's not similar. Nothing is similar. And it's a dangerous game to start comparing. I just made a video before looking at I was comparing that last drop in 2017. There were a lot of similarities. But one thing that happened after that one was Bitcoin immediately, like within 30 days, was at new highs. Well, it ain't 2017, is it? I think we're 30 days already, and Bitcoin's struggling, and you know what? Bitcoin is not who it was in 2017 right now, right? I mean, Ethereum is getting a lot more love, but who knows? Listen, I don't know, and what is this similar? I don't know. All I know is that we are at the point where people love talking about crypto. Things have been going up. People have made a lot of money. Everybody loves it and jumping in and wants to put money in. But that happens when the crash, I remember 2018, the crash started. For 3 to 4 months into the crash, people were still watching all my videos and buying. And then finally everybody gave up, stopped watching my videos, and gave up on it. That doesn't happen until we're far into the crash and people are super discouraged. So the fact that people are still excited right now doesn't mean the bull's still going on. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Don't know. Okay. Next is Yagway asks, what do you have to say for all the people who think Ethereum is centralized? First of all, I could care less about all the people. I don't care what people say about anything. What do I care? I care about what Vitalik says. I care about what, Joe Lubin. I have a lot of, I have some experts that I follow, and I care what they say. And if they say, oh, this is a problem, and then I think it's a problem, right? If Vitalik Buterin says this thing is a problem, I like the Bankless show, and they bring on people. If I saw Stani from Aave and says, what Ethereum, what was the question? If whatever, even somebody, never mind Vitalik, Stani from Ethereum, or, he says, I don't know, I'm concerned. Well, Ethereum's got some centralization issues. Oh, now I care. This is the guy who created Aave. He's a smart guy. Or some, top developer guy is like, oh, this is a problem. I will listen. Do I care what a bunch of people on YouTube are saying? What do I give a shit? Or if someone comments and they're like, Ethereum's becoming centralized, first of all, I don't care, because who are you? But even if I wanted to entertain it, I'd be like, well, where are you? What genius are you listening to? Show me your source. And I'll listen to it. I'm not trying to have confirmation bias, or I don't know what all the terms are for just, It's like people who say the word FUD. I think if you say the word FUD, fear, uncertainty, and oh my God, uncertainty. I don't want uncertainty. Don't. People get scared when you say something that makes them uncertain. I'm not afraid of that. I'll fucking dump Ethereum in 2 seconds if I figure out that it's not good. I don't care, right? So I want to know. And so if someone's got the news, I want to know it. But I don't listen to a bunch of idiots. That's recipe for disaster. Especially even reading news or cable news channels. It's just stupidness. Now, if Vitalik Buterin goes on CNBC, I will listen to him on CNBC. He's not going to suddenly become stupid because he's on CNBC. So then I'd listen to him. But I'm not going to just, some random person goes on CNBC and the chart looks like this. I'm like, who cares? And anyways, so of all the people I follow a lot of people, a lot of crypto people. My Twitter, I follow 70 people, very crypto heavy geniuses. I've never heard anybody say that Ethereum is becoming centralized. So I'm not worried about it. I haven't even heard an argument about it. I do know there's a bunch of idiots who'll say anything, and I don't listen to them. Okay. Next. Ken Stitty asks, what blockchain network do you think there is a good chance to become second best behind Ethereum? Listen. What? I'm trying to pick winners. I want to pick who's number one. And if I pick somebody else other than Ethereum, another blockchain, it would be because I think they have a chance of passing Ethereum and being number one. It's kind of like if you're going to the horse race track and you bet, you can bet to show, which means will you bet which course is going to come in third? Well, that to me is, I'm not going to bet, oh, I think this horse is going to come in third. I would say, I bet this horse is going to win. So I'm going to bet they're going to come in third, because then I make money if they come in first, second, or third, right? I'm not picking that they're going to come in. And I don't even know how horse racing works. And maybe you do make more money if they actually come in third. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I remember, I've been to the track before, you make money if they come in ahead of what you picked. So I only am thinking who's the king? And I want to give my money to the king, the leader, and that a leader that's going to remain in charge. So who's going to be number 2 is like, what are you even asking? I don't like the question. But anyways, my view to answer your question is, I believe Ethereum is shaping up to be the ultimate trust layer 1, and everything else will sort of be connected to it, and there will be a lot of, whether it's a layer 2 or whether it is another blockchain that has a very strong bridge to Ethereum, there will be others, and there's going to be so many, and some of them will be huge and possibly as valuable as Ethereum at times, and who knows, But who are those going to be at this point? I have no idea. I sort of talked about that earlier with the layer 2s. All of those other chains are happening and are just starting now, and starting to have users and starting to have value. In the past I was saying Ethereum is the only one with any activity. Yeah, it used to be true. Now there are other chains with activity. Some of them I don't love because it's not decentralized. Binance has a lot of activity, but I'm sort of, maybe they'll transition. I'm not even saying they're bad. If I didn't live in the US, maybe I'd have a little money there I don't know. I'm worried about Binance. I don't know what I would do. But anyways, I think it's pretty hard to pick which will be the biggest. So, and in a sense, that's what you're asking. Who's going to be the biggest in all of those other chains that connect into Ethereum? I have no idea. I mean, I'm just looking for ones that work. And I think in the next few years, I think it will make sense to start diversifying into some other chains. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Too early for that for me. Next. Surfer Derek asks, what % of your total ETH will you be selling during the bull market? So first of all, maybe the bull market's over. We're already in the bear. And, I don't know. What did we sell? Maybe, though, we're going higher. And for me, it's if we keep on going higher, I sort of think of like dollar cost average or diversifying it. The way I look at it is, what % of my portfolio do I want in ETH, right? If your portfolio right now is like 50% of your whole portfolio in life is 50% Ethereum, we've gone up 10x, you might be like, I love Ethereum long term, but do I want 50% of my wealth in something that can go down by 80%? So maybe you're not selling it because you think it's going to go down, you're selling it because the bet is too big. And you're like, you know what, I still think it's probably going up, but it might not be. Maybe I'll just have 20% of my wealth will be in Ethereum, which is a lot. I mean, a lot of people who believe in diversification is like, you shouldn't have more than 10% of your wealth in any one thing. Though there's a great quote, you get wealthy by being super knowledgeable in something and making a big bet. You preserve your wealth by diversifying it, right? You don't go down that much if you're diversified, but you're not going to go up that much either. You go up a lot by being super focused in one thing and knowing what you're doing. So, and if you do want to become rich by focusing on one thing, don't do it when it's up 10x, 1,000% in the last year. Ethereum's up 1,000% in the last year. So not a good time to be placing huge bets. I'm not saying, listen, I've already said in this video a couple times, who knows if we're going to, I felt that this bull market, we would hit 10,000. I felt that for a while, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was 4,200 and we're going to languish here for a while. Maybe it languishes and fuck the old chart and the old pattern. It all blew up and we bounce at this level for a year and then it goes. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, what was the question? So what percent? So that's the way I look at it. Now, if Ethereum is at 10,000 in September, that means we've gone fucking straight up. And not only that, what is my percentage? You know, if your percent right now is 40% and ETH is at 10,000 in 3 months, your portfolio is 80% Ethereum. And now it's 10,000. It's gone up a lot. Now I would think if you were starting from scratch, how much ETH should your portfolio be? You might say, I don't know, 10%, 20%. I mean, that 10% is high for a lot of people, for someone if you want to be diversified. So that means you're selling a ton, you know? Now, also, I talk all this about buying and selling. You know, one of the things you gotta, you know, it depends. First of all, what is your tax situation? Someone posted a comment, they live in Puerto Rico, there's no taxes. Great, because that's a huge chunk off the top. If it's 20%, you're like all cap gain, you know, you lose 20% off the top. Like right now, we've come down. And I don't know, if you sell it now, then you lose another 20% from taxes. And what if it's whatever? What if it just lays flat? You are better off holding. And if you're a long-term holder, holding it for 5 years, this timing the market is super hard. Just hold it. Okay? So anyways, if you feel you have too much of something, it's a good idea to dollar cost average. Every month, sell some off. And if you're selling when it's up, when it's high. You know, I sold a little, I've been doing that with a little, you know, I had unloaded some Bitcoin in my Coinbase. 62,000, baby. You know, got a little lucky there. But if you're looking to sell every month, you know, it's easier to sort of hit those. And in other words, like during the bear, when I was accumulating, you know, I was buying a little bit every month. So one of my purchases of Ethereum was $100. Am I a genius? I mean, I don't know. I also bought some at 200 and 300, you know, whatever. So you end up picking a little in the bottom and a little at the top if you just a little bit every month to trim your portfolio to where you want it to be. Did I answer your question? I don't know if I did, but that's the best I can do. Okay. What are we at? Michael asks, what is your view on how bad the deflation of the US dollar gets as Sleepy Joe is pushing to print another $6 trillion to make America more competitive? First of all, you watch way too much cable news. Like, stop it. Turn off the TV. Turn it off. Second, also, aside from real estate, is crypto the only safe haven in your eyes? Dude, you be careful. Okay, you're caught up in like narratives. You've been captured by an algorithm or multiple algorithms, or maybe you're on YouTube. YouTube is very dangerous. They love, once you watch one thing, then they just keep feeding you the same thing over and over, and it becomes your reality. Like you're caught up because it's, you know, real estate and crypto, the only safe havens. First of all, there's no such thing as a safe haven, and crypto is not a safe haven. It's the furthest thing out on the risk curve. Okay, so let's go through it. First of all, inflation or deflation. Again, I have no fucking idea. And if you think you know, listen to, if you believe inflation is for sure, listen to David Rosenberg talk about what's going to happen. He was just on Eric Townsend's show. Brilliant guy. You listen to him. Deflation's coming. Coming back. Makes sense. I listen to him. I'm like, shit, deflation's coming. You think deflation's coming? Listen to Jim Bianco. Brilliant guy, knows his shit. He's great. Listen to him talk about it. Inflation's coming. You know, they're probably both wrong and they're both right. I don't know. Don't bet on that. And if you don't, you just watch. Know what's happening. Best you can do is be one of the first to realize what's happening. I don't, you know, yeah. So anyways, that's a whole nother topic. But, so, and then real estate, you know, real estate is good because in that it can't go down that much. And also it can't really be stolen and diluted. right? You can own stocks. They can sort of dilute you or do all kinds of crazy things or tax it, or who knows what. If you own a house, like, no one's going to take that from you, and they can't make it a less smaller house. I mean, it is what it is. And also, because it's expensive, you can always pay down your debt. Safe way to, like, add value to what you own. And even if your mortgage rate is only 3%, if you pay down that mortgage, you save 3% a year. So real estate is not great in that a lot of it doesn't go up that much. People who think real estate goes up a lot do not do the accounting correctly, I believe. People buy a house. I bought it for $200,000. I sold it for $400,000. Oh, really? Well, and for a year and a half, you spent $120,000 fixing it up. You spent, $50,000 on your broker fees, and you worked every fucking day dealing with stupid contractors who don't show up to earn your $50,000 profit. That's what you made. So you just had a shitty job. That's all you got. I mean, listen, you can make some money, but it's not. And then crypto, a safe haven. You out of your fucking mind? Do you not know that crypto can go down 80% like that? Did you see 2 weeks ago it fell 50%? Where's your safe haven? Now, I think Ethereum, again, long term, 5 years, you're going to be happy. I mean, I told people, I remember in 2017, Ethereum. A lot, it was at 300 a lot. A lot of people listened to me and they bought it at 300. 2 years later, they could have bought it at 100, and a lot of them sold it at 100 2 years later. It's hard to see it through, but if they held it till now, I was right? I was right. It was only, 2017, 18, 19, 21. Yeah, in 3 years, they're up, whatever, a lot. But I'll tell you, the 2 years when they were underwater was a long time. So long term, I wouldn't even call it a safe haven. It's a good bet, right? It's a good investment. Aside from real estate, is crypto the only safe haven in your eyes? Okay. And a safe haven, and I'll tell you, the crash that I think is possible that we're going to have within whenever it comes, the everything bubble pops or the central bank can't continue. If the central bank gets to a place where they can't keep printing because people feel that the printing is causing the problem, if we get there, look out below. There is no place to hide. Or maybe there is a place to hide and hopefully I'll be in it. I love the idea of stable coins earning yield. I think stable coins, but even stable coins now, central banks coming after, the U.S. talking a lot about they're going to come after these stable coins. I worry about USDC, which I don't worry about Coinbase backing USDC, but I worry about the government attacking it. And then we got problems. And DAI now, decentralized stablecoin, is 40% backed by USDC. Now, I like RAI is 100% backed by ETH. Looks pretty good. But how do you earn yield on it? You can do RAI, DAI, locked in Uniswap, V3, but then you got DAI, which is at risk. I mean, I don't know. Where's safe haven? The safest is your little house, the house that you pay off and pay down the debt. That's the safest. Sorry for being mean. Sometimes I'm mean in these things and I yell at people. I don't know what's up with that. I'm just an asshole, I guess, but I apologize. Michael, I appreciate. You're probably a young kid. Working hard here. Sorry for yelling at you, but everyone else probably enjoys my rants. So there you go. All right, next. Okay, Exceller again asks. So his portfolio: 20% cash, 50% ETH, 30% WBTC. Okay, 20% CAF, good. 50% ETH, 30% Bitcoin. I'm just not a big Bitcoin fan, and as each day goes by, I become less of one. And more confident in ETH. I don't like 30% BTC. Some people, it's, the old saying they used to have with technology. Nobody ever got fired by hiring IBM. And people used to say that because IBM wasn't the best, and there were a lot of new software companies, and you could do well by finding the new thing. But IBM always they did okay, and so you never got fired for hiring IBM for your computer stuff. And so BTC is a little bit like, well, you're not going to lose all your money. Or if you are, it's going to be over a very long time. It's not going away anytime soon. So it's not horrible. But personally, I don't even, that 30% to me is a little much. Okay, where are we here? All right, Colin talks. I mean, this guy, he's got 31,000 subscribers on YouTube, 11,000 on Twitter. Colin, I will answer your question, but show me some love on your channels. Retweet me. I don't know. Put all my videos on your channel. Let's trade. So he's got a big following. God bless. And his portfolio. So let's rip it to shreds and embarrass him in front of all of his fans. I'm kidding. Much love. I looked up his thing. He got into crypto very early. It was like 2013, I think it said. Probably made some money. Probably had his channel for a while. So he's gotten some followers. But not because he's that smart. You know why I know that? Sorry. He's got 3% in BCH. Bitcoin Cash. This is the first time I've heard that word in a while. Bitcoin Cash is the ultimate shitcoin. I mean, I hated that in 2017. It's funny, nobody even talks about it anymore because it's such garbage. I don't know how you hold any of that thing. Okay, so 3% Bitcoin Cash. Let me first read his portfolio. Bitcoin Cash, 3%. Various DeFi, 5%. EOS, 6%. Luna, 10%. BTC, 26%. And ETH, 50%. So, and by the way, he said various DeFi. I picked 5%. I don't know if that all added up correctly. If it didn't add up, it's not his fault. I might have done the numbers myself, messed it up. But anyways, that's the ballpark of what he's got here. Now, so BCH I hate, and EOS, I hated it in 2017. Now it's proven that I was right, and it's a piece of crap. Nobody's using it, nothing's going on it, and it's not decentralized. I would get rid of that ASAP. I don't even know, it's funny too. Some of these things, everybody's all they talked about in 2017 was BCH and EOS. And this is where Charlie Munger has a great quote that a lot of people say, well, what does that mean? It's called, he says, a year where I don't get rid of one of my best ideas is a wasted year. I think we need to update that for crypto. Is like a month that goes by where you don't give up one of your best ideas is a wasted month. So, EOS, there was a period of time where if you owned EOS, man, you were killing it. Number one performer, it was your best idea. It was, if you were early in EOS, and I don't know his history, but let's just say, for example, you were early in EOS and there was a time, and also, to most people other than me, it wasn't obvious that EOS would fail. So, fine, and it was good for a while. Now it's time, like imagine you were just looking at it from scratch today. Like, why would you like it? And listen, maybe you got reasons. I'm not following it closely. Maybe it's got something. I can't believe it has anything going on. But don't be afraid to change your mind, and Colin too. He's been around from 2013, right? So you can get stuck in things that you don't want to let go of. I remember with Stellar, I love Stellar, for those of you who remember 2017. It was great. And it was the number one performer in 2017. And it was great. And then I remember in 2018 being like, okay, reducing the portfolio and this and that. And then I started seeing all these other things. And then I was just like, I remember I just had that light bulb where it was the Charlie Munger, get rid of your best ideas. I'm like, that's it, I'm done with it. And I just let it go. Let it go. It's like breaking up. Hard to do. Okay, so ETH 50%, great. BTC 26%, fine. I just gave my speech in the previous one about BTC, even 25. It's better than 30. Personally, I'm afraid to go more than 20 in it because I got issues with BTC, but it's fine probably. Okay. Various DeFi 5%. Now. Yeah, so for me, on all these DeFi things, to me, it's like I've been talking about with the layer 2s. It's so early, it's hard to pick winners. Now, I like when we're in the lows of a cycle and everything's cheap. Like back in 2019, I think I had 10 or 12 DeFi tokens. Now all I got is Uni. Like when we're this high up in the cycle, I don't like having a lot because there's too much noise. Things are moving fast. Everything's expensive. I don't want to get stuck in a bunch of tiny things that end up going way down and I can't watch them all. It's like various DeFi is the kind of thing I like to see when prices are all low and then you got to spread out and you're studying. But at this point in the cycle, I don't like that. But on the other hand, at least you are if you're able to follow all those that you own, you're various, and you're able to follow them, at least you're diversified because I think it's too hard to pick a winner. So it might turn out to be fine. And if you're able to hold it through the lows, the problem is you got to I think you have to trim when you see things that become losers to let go of those losers. And then with DeFi you're in now, so you're going to be letting go of losers when they're down. I don't like losing on anything, so you may have to sell some that are down when you realize they're not good anymore. Finally, Luna. So I'm very interested in Luna. From what I see so far, it looks good in that, it's Cosmos, so I think it's decentralized. It's got this UST stablecoin, which from what I see so far looks good. It's got this ecosystem that's got a lot of activity. They're working with everything on the surface so far. It looks pretty cool, but it's new. It hasn't been tested through a crash yet. I mean, it was sort of tested a couple weeks ago and it did fine. And I sort of like it, but I haven't dug in and I haven't got into it yet. So I'm not that confident. I would not do 10% now in it because I don't know. Now, if you've dug in deeper and you really think this thing has got the legs to last, it's new. And I don't even know if I dug in that I would maybe say, it's too early. Like, I'm not all about being the first into anything. I want to be right. So I wait until I have. I mean, when MakerDAO launched and had DAI, I was like, okay, this is cool. But I don't know, wait a year to see if this thing works. And DAI held its peg all the way through the crash. Then, at the end of 2018, I dug in and then I liked it and started nibbling. I didn't need to be the first one in. And a lot of times, price-wise, over the long term, it's like this, and so many things, like right now, everything's high. I may determine that I like Luna. Like I said, I like it now, but I don't know what I'm talking about. I may study it deep, decide I really like it, get into it in a year or two at prices lower than it is today. So what's the rush, right? All right. So Colin, please tell all of your viewers to watch me, and next time I'll be nicer to you. Okay. Next, we got Crypto Ape asks, have you looked into METH? You can get 40% yield by providing liquidity through Mirror Protocol. This is similar to one of the questions at the beginning. Don't go out looking for high yield. Go out looking for it's going to last, it's safe, it's decentralized, it's been around long enough that we should be able to trust it. Depending on how your answers to all those questions are, you put in a little, and as time goes, you can add to it. I don't know anything about Mirror Protocol. For most of these, I am so afraid of anything, exploits, and most of these things are brand new. I don't care. And 40% yield, either it's going to go away soon because that's very high, or there's something wrong. That seems like too high. To me, that's a red flag, 40%. Unless it's like, it literally just launched, and so therefore it's got a high yield, but it's good, and then people will come, and then the yield goes down. That's possible. But then you're in something new that is safe and good, which for me, I don't know. Did you read the Solidity contract? Did you read the code? Is it that new? And if it's not new, how the fuck are they doing 40%? And maybe it's fine. Again, I haven't looked into it, but I don't, the way you can get 40% yield by providing liquidity. I would rather see, if you ask the question, do you like METH? It's extremely decentralized. It's a new type of, whatever the something technology that works like this and this. And so they're able to safely return yield. Currently, it's 40%, which is pretty good. I hope that lasts. What do you think? Okay, if you asked me that way, it would sort of clue me into like, okay, that might be cool. I would have actually researched it. Honestly, I copied this question and I didn't even look it up. I don't give a shit. You know, if you know that this thing, it's been around, it's trusted, and I should research it, send me something about that. Tell me. But don't just say 40%. To me, just saying 40% yield, that's almost a red flag to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, holy crap. So we're at an hour and and I have 2 more pages. This is going to be a world record video. What time is it? Okay. Saturday afternoon. Going strong. Got my coffee. Fasting today. Haven't eaten yet. Played tennis. Haven't eaten. Just coffee and water. Problem is my video does not pause. And if I gotta pee too much, I might have to end the video. I'm still okay. Don't worry. All right. What's next? We got Yeed asks, what's your opinion on waultswap and their WEX token? Do you see any potential to rise to the levels of pancake swap, sushi swap, Uniswap, etc.? I love decentralized exchanges. I believe that I love automatic market makers. I believe that automated market maker model will disrupt order book trading systems. I believe that, I don't know whether it's 5 or 10 years from now, NASDAQ, for example, will still exist, but a lot of their trading will be done on automatic market makers, and probably most of it through some L2 on Ethereum. Will it be Uniswap? Maybe. Will it be pancake swap? Don't think so. Will it be sushi swap? Maybe. So here's the thing. I like this decentralized exchange. I follow it. I'm into it. I love it. I think the leader right now is Uniswap. And when I say leader, there's a lot of measure. You can measure. Some pancake swap has been doing more volume than Uniswap. But pancake swap is, first of all, it's new. And it's on Binance, so it's not really decentralized. I don't believe that NASDAQ will use pancake swap, right? So in the long run, what's the one that's really trusted? And anyways, the point is, I'm watching this. It's fast moving. Uniswap's new system looks great to me, but I don't know, maybe something else becomes bigger. I want to be invested in the leading decentralized exchange or exchanges in the long run. Now, and I watch, and again, I'm not trying to pick who's going to be number 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not looking for who's small, and I'm going to YOLO bet that they're going to somehow take over the world. I just try to figure out who's in the lead, which is hard enough. Who's in a lead that they can maintain it? I saw also from Binance is another one, MDEX or something, just shot up to like number 1. Like all of a sudden, who the fuck are they? And it's on Binance. It's not long. I mean, I don't know. Things come up and then it goes down. Like, or maybe it doesn't, but it's not long. You know, I'm looking at who's going to last. Maybe this MDEX is amazing. It's going to last. I don't know, but I don't need to be the first. I want to be right. So all that being said, so then there's waultswap, which I assume is pretty tiny compared to all these. So again, here we are. And do you think this tiny new thing is going to overtake the champion? Again, if I was going to bet on in boxing and you had to pick who's going to be the world champion in 5 years, I mean, I would look at who's sort of the world champion now or the next contender who's young. That's who I'd bet on. I wouldn't start going to gyms and look for some kid who looks like he's hungry. Like, you're sort of... So, I don't know anything about waultswap. And sushi, I gotta say, when sushi came out, boy, did it look like a shit show. And I was like, this is stupid. And why is anyone paying attention? And I thought it would be another, pump and dump. But they're innovating. They apparently have some good developers. They're working with, and it seems like it's gonna last. And they have slightly a different focus than Uniswap. There will be, I don't think there's gonna be just one automated market maker, or at least not for a while. So there can be multiple winners. But again, try to pick the winner, right? What's next? And I'll put a link under this there's a great thing that shows all the DEX leaders. And you can see who's doing the most volume. Okay, next. Spanking Good Hex. And I got 3 people here. Hexander, Crypto Coach. They're all, Hex. So first of all, I like Richard Hart. I just think the guy's hilarious, and he's successful and a smart guy. He's entertaining. I like him, and I don't think he's a scammer at all. And I hope Hex does well, but Hex is not for me. I don't. So, I don't want to criticize Hex, all you hexamaniacs or whatever you call yourself, the Hex Army, whatever. I don't want to criticize anyone because it's probably gone up the most of anything, and maybe it will continue to. But from my perspective, Hex is more of a game than DeFi. And again, there's nothing wrong with games where you can make money or even gambling. And there's gambling where odds are in your favor. Or fair rules gambling, where if you're smart, you win, and if you don't, you don't. But it's fair, and it's not all going to the house. Whatever the case. But I don't play games. I like to invest. Now, if for me to be interested in Hex, I would have to see it being integrated into the DeFi community. So, for example, if Hex was being used as collateral, on Aave and in Compound, and, Yearn was using Hex and depositing into Hex, it's not. It's this standalone thing, and it's this fun game that he's created that, you can get into it. Maybe that's why all the Hex people are going crazy about Hex, because how much do you lock it up for? And it's like a game within itself. And they're all the hexamaniacs are playing against each other. And meanwhile, more and more people keep coming in. So the price keeps going up. Everybody's having a fun time. I hope it keeps going. But for me, it feels more like a game. So I'm not interested. Again, nothing against games. And I would have to see it. It's not DeFi to me. I mean, it is decentralized. And also, he's doing, what do you think about the fork? I mean, he's got a second layer solution. He's creating a side chain. Sounds like it's similar to maybe a Polygon thing, where it's a side proof of stake chain. And again, Richard Hart is smart. It probably will work. He's probably going to scale his thing. There's probably nothing wrong with it. But again, it's like, so he's going to create this fork. Will any other application run on his own fork? Maybe, but from what I've seen so far, it's going to be like only him, or only Hex is the only one on this fork. And again, I'm not criticizing, but from my point of view, if you want something that's an investment, it needs to be, I don't even know how to explain it, but I would want to see something more integrated into, so then if he creates this fork and tons of applications are jumping onto that fork, onto that side chain, I think it's Pulse, then that would also give me more confidence in that thing. So Hex isn't for me, and I'm not saying the price is going to go down, so don't all start yelling at me. And I wish you all luck, and God bless. You've all probably, if you put all your money into Hex, which I would have said no to, you probably made more money than me last year, okay? Good for you. Now stop fucking commenting on all, the Hex, you Hex people, please, don't become like XRP Army. This is XRP Army. Oh, I'd like to make a video about cooking pizza, how to make a good pizza. Please leave your comments below. Buy Hex! It's like, really? Like they just, spamming every topic with buy Hex, Hex is the best. It's like, that is annoying and stupid, okay? What's next? I'm writing down my timestamps if you're wondering why I keep sort of delaying. Okay, Stuart Sharples asks, when it comes to researching news, trends, updates, what is your day-to-day routine for this? What are you looking for in particular? Very important question. How do you remain informed? And I tell you, I tell this to everybody. Nobody listens to me. Maybe you guys will because you're watching the video, but I'm talking with friends and other people. The most important thing is to listen to people who are super smart. And I don't just mean, they did well in their SATs. I'm talking about, if you want to know about crypto, listen to somebody, the guy who Stani created Aave, Vitalik Buterin created Ethereum, Kane created Synthetics, Rune created MakerDAO. Like, these are people that I listen to. And I'm not even talking I listen to somebody who like, oh, I know a lot about crypto. And maybe they do. Someone went to MIT and they know a lot about crypto. Great. But you don't know as much as a Vitalik Buterin. And I would rather listen to 5 geniuses than 100 whatevers. So I'm super selective. I choose these people to follow on my Twitter. If you want to copy me, go to my Twitter, Dave Levine, the number 0, com. See who I follow. I think it's like 70 people. And a lot of them don't even tweet that much. You can follow, create a separate Twitter if you don't want to mess up your whole Twitter. Or a lot of people have their following 1 million people. Whatever. Create one and just follow a few people. The only things I read are the things they tweet, and often people post articles to read. So I will read those articles. Now, if it's a friend or somebody forwards me an article, the first thing I do is I'll go and I look at the author. Who's the author? And if they're not like a genius who's created a bunch of great things, I don't read it. Period. Not interested. And people will say, oh, well, just read it. Let me know what you think. It clouds your mind. It also leads you astray. And you think you're just reading and you're ignoring, but you're not. If you read it, it gets in your head. Just don't listen. Only listen to fucking geniuses. That is the key. Since I figured that out, I feel like I can see around corners. Seriously. Like, even, my feed is mostly focused on crypto. I knew everything about fucking COVID in February of 2020 to the point that I'm like, I can't even believe it. Like, even the lab leak was just like obvious in January of 2020. I read a couple things and was like, well, what did it come from? I don't know. Lab leak seems like a decent idea that it might be. Who knows? And it's not like I was all into it, but it was just like, and then when everyone wanted to, you can't talk about it, that made me think more that it probably is true, but I don't know, and then who cares, right? But that was just one of the things, and then the fact that masks you needed, it's like, and that it was airborne, like all these things, the CDC didn't figure shit out until like a couple months ago. My feed had everything, and I'm not even trying to get like health experts on my feed, so, anyways, that's all I listen to. Now, I will do YouTube as well. But again, I'm only listening to, it's hard to just follow like that. You can on Twitter. But I go through and I will only listen to, there was just a video, I just tweeted it as well, that Vitalik Buterin talking for like 3 hours to Lex Friedman. Great video. Super informative. So I see a good video like mine. I'm an expert. Put it on, I download, keep lists. I also have a spreadsheet. Okay, so when I go through my Twitter and I see and they say an article to read, I email it to myself. When I go to my computer and I go through my emails, I take those URLs and I post them into a spreadsheet. When I want to read, I sit down and I got a spreadsheet with like 20 things to read. And then I read them. Don't try to read when you're just scrolling through the news. So my news is my Twitter feed. But I don't do my reading at that point. I'm just going through to see what's happening and save articles for later. And I've shared this before, my spreadsheet that I use, I've got it on a thing, I have a public address, I'll put it in the below, in the description below. You can go to my feed, my spreadsheet. Now, the way I do it, I accumulate things to read, and then one day I'll sit down and I'll read 20 things, and I delete them as I read them. So, this is not, I don't do it for you and for other people and save things and organize it. I'm just throwing things onto the spreadsheet. But if you're ever looking for something to read, you could go look at my list and read my things. And I also have another list of videos to watch. I often put the videos in because not everything's YouTube. And sometimes I put the YouTube ones in there. But I'm starting to just download for YouTube and then I have it. And then after I listen to it on YouTube, I delete it. And that's it. That's how I get all my news. That's it. I do not watch cable news. It can suck you in. I got YouTube and they love, it's like if you watch one video, you watch Tucker Carlson, he's funny, okay, watch one, and then they just, Tucker Carlson in my feed nonstop, and it's like, fuck you, it's garbage. All that stuff, and Should I go on more about this? One more thing I just want to mention, and there's been multiple things like this, but I had someone sent me an article, I remember it was about COVID. Oh, what do you think of this? Like, it was this article, if you read the title, it was like, oh, this and that, and I was like, interesting, and what do we think? And I remember, and this was when it was early in the COVID thing, and I looked up the author, and this, my friend is from Boston, and they sent it, and the author, I looked at the author. The author writes about the New England Patriots. He's written about 100 articles about the New England Patriots for whatever it was, the Globe or whatever. And now all of a sudden they're writing about COVID. I'm like, listen, if this guy wants to tell me about Brady, I would listen. But what do they know about COVID? Well, but what do you think of what they said? I don't think about it, and I won't read it. And people get mad at me. I've had this with friends too. I'm like, no, everyone's like discussing, and what do you guys think of this? And I'm like, I'm not reading it. I only listen to experts. And I'm like, fuck you, But if you're out with friends and you're out, you listen to people, and you can but be very selective on finding a few geniuses to listen to. And also, I tell you, it's great. So much less noise. If you're only listening to like 20 people, great. So you don't have a ton to read. There's nothing wrong with that. The only stuff you're reading is brilliant, and it's easier to keep up. And my news feed, I don't miss anything too. It's like, oh, well, how are you going to know about, whatever. I knew about COVID before everybody else, even though I'm only care about crypto and I'm only reading from my Twitter feed. I know things come up. I seem to stay informed anyways. Boy, I went on a little long with that one, but whatever. But it's one of my favorite topics. Okay, next, Adrian Vaughn asks his portfolio. 50% ETH, 30% NFTs, 10% DPI, 10% other alts. Okay, 50% ETH, great. 10% DPI. So actually, what's his name? Colin had various DeFi. If you want to do various DeFi, it might be easier to, DPI is an index of DeFi. And I like that. Again, I'm not in that now because I'm just worried in this part of the cycle, something like that could get killed. But when things are low and sometime in the future, I could see myself owning a DeFi fund. It's too hard for me to keep up with everything, so just have a fund, someone else runs it. That could make sense. 10%, not horrible. Again, if we're in the bear market, small new things like DeFi, that could get crushed. But if you're a long-term holder, you'll be happy in 3 to 4 years. NFTs. So that's, NFTs, first of all, so NFTs are super high valued. Everyone are buying, a piece of art, and these things are if in a crash, Bitcoin falls by 80% and Ethereum falls by 85% and all the small things fall by 90%, NFTs will fall by 99%. Okay, I'm talking zero liquidity. You will not be able to get out. It's also because there's so many of these little things and they're just diversified, it doesn't have as many uses, it's a piece of art. Some of these things may never come back, right? It may never have a value 5 years from now. It'll just be zero forever. I mean, granted, I used to think that tokens would go to zero, and none of them go to zero, so maybe NFTs too won't. But I would be very careful. And 30%, unless you bought them before the NFT mania and they went up so much, and that's why it's 30%, and you want to hold through, fine. But I would look at which of your NFTs are the least liquid, that you are not madly in love with, that you still wanted even if it goes to zero, and I would get rid of those. And just, that's high. Now, like I said, if you bought them at a penny and they all went to $100, and that's why it's now 30% of your portfolio, you're in the money, and so you're not worried about it, but still, it can go back to a penny. So be careful. The other thing, 10% other alts. I hate the word alt. That comes from 2014 when all the other tokens, they would take Bitcoin and fork it and make a few adjustments. So it was just an alternative to Bitcoin. Anything, listen, I don't even like Bitcoin, let alone a slight alteration thereof. And anything that is good now is not technically a Bitcoin alt. Because even Zcash, right, originally was a fork of Bitcoin that was edited. It's been so edited now, you can't call it an alt. It's Zcash is a privacy, layer 1 privacy token. It's not an altcoin. That's what it is. Ethereum wasn't even a fork. It's not an alt, right? And whatever you want to buy, Compound Finance, the comp token. It's not an alt. It's a DeFi lending platform. Comp is the governance token. So anything you're investing in that you call an alt, you should not own. So I don't like the term. So I don't know what you're owning that you're calling alt, and maybe one of them is great, but what is it? I don't think anyone should own anything called an alt. Now, I wish I had my water. Looks like it's in my room. Where are we? We're an hour 20. Holy crap. Well, some of these questions get long. Okay, let's see if I can make it. I mean, 2 hours is going to be my limit, but we got, I think we're only halfway through. God help me. This might be too much for me. I might have to finish in a second video. I'm sorry. Your thoughts, where are we timing-wise here? Mr. Lucid asks, USDC, USDT, no, that was my note. Your thoughts on USDT, are they safe to store dollar value during the next crash? They keep issuing coins out of thin air. Any good stable coins overall? So, so stable coins. Up until recently, I thought, something USDC is great. It's backed by Coinbase. I trust them. They have a lot of money. USDC, I don't really trust. I don't use it. I wouldn't put any money in it. It seems to last, and I'm not really that worried about it. But what I am worried about, what I've always said, and now it's starting to look like an issue, is I don't worry that any of these things won't work. I don't worry that USDT can't stick the peg. But what I do worry about is that the U.S. government attacks it and just knocks it off its peg. That's what I'm worried about. And even USDC, which is as compliant as you can be, if the U.S. government says, we don't want these things or something, I don't know. I think there's a considerable risk in those tokens. I'm hoping I'll see it coming. I mean, I do see that something's coming, but I don't know what. Like, I love Caitlin Long, and if any of you follow her, she knows about, but she always tweets like, if you listen to what Brainerd, this central bank, whatever, governor, whoever it is, if you listen to what they said, you can see what's coming. I'm like, no, I can't see what's coming, and I listen to what they said. Will you tell me what's coming? She always thinks people know what she knows. But anyways, something's coming from the government. They're coming after stablecoins. I don't know what they're gonna do, and maybe they won't hurt it, but maybe they will, and they don't give a shit about me. Okay, so I don't know. I like USDC. I like locking it up and earning some interest, but I don't know. I'm concerned. That's why I'm starting to prefer. I mean, RAI, R-A-I, is the only token that I know of that is not touching any government shit. It's just backed by ETH. It's pegged to itself. They can't really attack it. And it seems like a good stable coin. I'm afraid to put all of my money into one fucking stable coin, but I don't know what else to do. And so I'm a little worried about them long term. Again, if there's a problem coming, hopefully I'll see it. And I don't think they want to destroy the economy by just making USDC go to zero tomorrow. So whatever they do, they'll give you chances to get out and to transition, but it could be an issue. So yeah, right now, and I'm doing a lot of research to see what I like. I mean, and I was liking some other things, like I like DAI, but now DAI is 40% USDC. I thought Frax looks interesting, but Frax is backed by USDC, and it depends on their FXS token, which I don't know how much I trust that thing. I just found this LUSDC. Looks interesting, but it's brand new, and it, I don't know. I do like RAI, R-A-I, but honestly, other than that, right now, I'm a little scared, and I want I'd love to load up on stablecoins with every price is high, and especially if they go higher. But I don't know. I don't know where to go. Tricky. Any altcoins you see going from cents to hundreds or bigger? You know what? Am I gonna have to take a break? I mean, I don't know if I can finish this fucking thing, guys. Let's see. I wish my camera had a pause. I don't know how. I had fucking Apple. I had to switch to the iPhone. How do you have no pause? Do I keep going? I mean, I need a break. How about I take a break? Like, I literally gotta go to the bathroom and drink some water. Should I just break and come back? Continue this thing? You can skip ahead to whatever time. Like, 5 minutes? You can look at my fucking kitchen? I mean, I think that's what we gotta do here. Because I feel like if I start over... Let's do that. Or should I just start over? You know what? It's an hour 25. Fuck it. We're going to start over. I wish I could give a note on that at the beginning. So I've got another, I mean... How many questions did we do here? Let's see what happened. 2. I mean, I went more than halfway, but I think this is enough for now. I'm going to finish this later. Maybe I'll put both videos up on the same, maybe I'll put both videos up at the same time type of thing. And I'll finish this thing later. All right? I gotta take a break. I haven't eaten, I'm fasting too. I'm fasting, I'm thirsty, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I love you all, but you know, guess what? Daddy needs some rest. Talk to you later.